Hi, I'm Julien Bilodeau, composer of REINE-GARÇON, an exciting new opera making its Toronto premiere at the Canadian Opera Company.
And I am Angela Conrad, director of this thrilling new work.
Today, we're going to dive into the fascinating history behind REINE-GARÇON's protagonist, the look and sound of this brand new opera, with an entirely Canadian cast, and share more from behind the scenes of its creation. So, let's get started. The opera's main character, Christine, is based on the real life of Queen Christina of Sweden, who was born in 1626. Her father, Gustav II, decided early on that, as his heir, Christina should be given the same education as any prince and made sure that she was raised accordingly.
Christina was an emblematic figure of emancipation. She embodied modernity, self-awareness, and freed herself from all social, political, gender, and religious constraints. She was fascinated by art and philosophy and struggled to accept the expectation that society had for her as a monarch.
She even recruited philosopher and scientist René Descartes to help guide her journey of knowledge and discovery. And that's not all, right, Angela?
She was certainly a very complex woman. Another thing that historians have learned from Christina's personal belongings is that she appeared to possess very deep feelings for other women. She wrote a number of passionate letters to her lady-in-waiting Ebba Spar, and we see this relationship represented in the opera. Eventually, Christina had to face the truth of the life she wanted versus the one that had been prescribed for her, and she was forced to make a monumental decision between love and duty, desire and reason.
I came on board with this project and with Michel Marc because we were working together on an earlier project, another opera titled La Beauté du Monde. And while we were working on it, he had a libretto without any composer. So I told him, look, I might know a composer for that project. And he was gracious enough to give me his libretto. I read it and I fell in love with the writing, with the story, with the forceful character surrounding Christine.
Working with a living composer and librettist offers opportunity for deep collaboration, creative dialogue and mutual influence, even before the rehearsals begin. But it requires openness, flexibility and interest in otherness in the creative process, as well as a willingness to embrace several perspectives. Something else that is very important, humility. I want to craft something that honors both Julien and Michel Marc's creative voices as well as my own directorial vision. It's challenging, very exciting, it's a non-narcissistic exercise.
So for REINE-GARÇON, we are very fortunate because we have a large orchestra and a large chorus. And that was one of the first ideas I had for the music, because in the text of Michel Marc, there is a strong presence of the nature. We are in Sweden, 17th century, you can imagine, in wintertime. There are tempests, there is snow, frozen lake, forest, sky with the moon, great landscape. So the orchestra is showing that feeling, and it's almost like it's a character in the opera. And then you have the social or the cultural aspect of it. When I work on an opera, I do a lot of research that is triggered by what is in the libretto. So I studied Swedish music, I studied the Habsburg music of the time, the French music of that period, and also the Italian music of the Renaissance, the birth of the opera. So you will hear in the music all those influences that were at the time present and that I use in the opera as well. When I was doing my research, my musical research triggered by what was inside the libretto, I came across a Swedish chant that is a very ancient practice. It's a kind of a Swedish yodel that is sang by women to call the cattle. And it's a very, very high-pitched singing technique, very, very unique. It's striking to ear. I didn't know about that chant, and when I heard it, I was struck because I heard Christine actually, because it's in a way very animalistic, very close to passion, but it's also very cultural because it's part of the Swedish culture. So that chant you will hear right at the beginning of the opera, and you will see the evolution of that chant throughout the opera, which is a kind of the musical evolution of the journey of Christine.
So the visual aesthetic of stage design in this opera alternates between realistic and symbolic visions of nature and culture. It was very important for us to keep the set design minimalistic, to focus on the characters, the gestures and the movements. In this way we are able to reveal and enhance the major contradictions between reason and passion, duty and desire, love and hate. The locations move from a snowy winter tempest forest and frozen lake to the Queen's personal chambers, to wood-paneled anatomical theatre. The costumes are also dark and feature heavy fabrics and furs. As Christina defied many societal expectations, her costumes reflect the gender rebellion against these norms. You might also notice the influence of the Flemish school and Rembrandt's mastery of chiaroscuro, clair-obscur, adding a rich layer of atmospheric depth to the production. La Reine-GARÇON was nominated as a world premiere for the International Opera Award some months ago, so we are very proud of this. The compelling combination of incredible composition, suspenseful narrative, profound themes and stunning aesthetics makes l'opera La Reine-GARÇON a multi-dimensional masterpiece. It's a deeply immersive experience that resonates on both intellectual and emotional levels.
Opera is an art that tells stories in a very unique way. It's not like cinema, it's not like theater. With the music, we bring emotion in a different fashion, a very particular one. And being in the hall, experiencing that medium of art is a unique experience. Can be a changing experience for your life. Also, let's be proud about the fact that we made it all together here. It's an all-Canadian cast, and we are able now to do that. It's a milestone in our history to be able to reach that level of artistry in opera.